Hey Amy, this is a video to give you an update on what I've done so far on the database. I'm almost done, I believe. I just have to make it so that you can print a quote. Right now you just have the quotes form, but I'm going to make the report and then I'll be able to give that to you. Now, when I give you the database, it's going to do another update to the back end like we've done before. So you're going to make sure that on the next time I give you this new copy that you will tell everyone to get out of the back end and you will be the only one to open it so that these changes can be made. I'm going to show you what those changes are right now. So one of the things that we want to do with this database is make it a world-class application that helps you to do data entries so you don't have to type so much. That helps you out with finding information that is typed on a regular basis, and also to be able to have data validation to keep you from entering data that's not valid. Now, both these things we can't do completely because some of your data just isn't very good. The data from CMS, there's a whole bunch of basically junk in there, and there's some data from the other database. I'm trying to think what they are. The customer information. There's stuff that needs to be cleaned up, but we can do what we can with what we have, and hopefully we'll help keep some of the data entries simple and also do some data validation. So a bunch of these things are going to get added to the back end. This thing is called stats. It's a table that can hold a lot of miscellaneous information. Right now there's only one piece of miscellaneous information, and that actually is your what I call the boilerplate, and that's all that text that appears on all your quotes. So it'll be in there and you will be able to modify that if you ever need to. Actually, for every quote that you create, you'll be able to modify the text that gets put in there, but it won't modify the main boilerplate text, if that makes any sense. What gets put into the quote is a copy of the boilerplate text, so then you can modify it. This table gets added to the back end, condition codes, so you've got all your conditions there. You've got all the countries. Now this is one that's just bad data. It's just all kinds of garbage in there. I mean, a phone number should not be in the country field, and you've got different spellings for Australia. Lots of garbage. So one of the things we're going to recommend, which I'll show you in a moment, is that you'll be able to clean that up so that when you do data entry, the list of choices that is given to you for countries is much more valid. This table is the table that you've created, the table customers, so no change there. Okay, so quotes gets added to the back end. I'll show you that in a moment. Quote details, I'll show you. That's two different tables, but they both have to do with quotes. And then there's a bunch of these things called local, and basically all those do is, well, I won't explain all that. Sales, okay, so you have sales reps, shipping methods, and terms. So those things are all added to the back end. So I will now just close the database and open it up again and show you what we got here. Before I show you the quotes menu, I just want to show you that all of those things that I just showed you are maintainable under the administration menu. And if you don't like where things are placed in these menus, just let me know and I can move around, but I put them under administration. So you've got maintain sales rep, maintain terms, maintain shipping methods, maintain condition codes, states, countries. So if I click on any one of these, there's your list of reps, and you can change the name, the spelling, the initials, any of that stuff. Same thing with terms, etc. Some of them have two columns like this, codes, and some of them just have one column, states. Again, states is full of garbage and countries is full of garbage. So once you delete any of these from there, then they won't show up in the list anymore, which I'll show you in a moment. Also, you can maintain a boilerplate text here. So if there's anything about this, maybe I spelled something wrong or I did it wrong, you can fix it right there. So here's the quotes form. That's under tasks. So here's quotes. And I have some garbage stuff in here already. And of course, you can delete those. Now, I don't know, I'm assuming that by now you're somewhat familiar with how Access forms work. If there aren't special buttons on the form, hold on, let me just shrink this up a little bit. If there are not special buttons on the form for navigating to first record, next record, previous record, last record, and new record, or delete record, if there aren't any special buttons on them, then the default Microsoft Access buttons for that are down here. You've got previous, next, last record, first record, and then new record. Those are all there. And you can also jump to a record by just typing in a number here and hitting enter. And then to delete a record, you select this bar on the left and then you hit the delete key and you'll get a prompt. So in case you didn't know all that, that's the way. And I can definitely add prettier buttons that are easier to read and more understandable to the form so that you don't have to use Microsoft Access default buttons, but in the interest of saving you time and money, I just use the defaults. So I am going to go to a new record here. So that's this button here, new record. So everything becomes blank. Now I've got these yellow forms, yellow fields, which I will explain here. Basically, most of this information is going to come from the information on the top area here is going to come from your customer table or items that you fill in yourself. But these yellow items are items that will come from the customer table, but you can overwrite them with new information if you want. So I'll just give you an example here. I will choose a customer. I'll just choose something that starts with a Y, let's say. I just chose this one. So all this information is filled in, the bill to information, the ship to information, and the yellow items are filled in as well. Of course, you can enter the salesperson, you can enter the ship via, and you can put in the customer reference number. Here's the difference between the yellow items and the other items. This address, if I change this, which I can go ahead and say that this is 225, 255, whatever, 2S. Oh, that's the company name, sorry. If I want to change the address, I can take out a number there, whatever. I have now changed the customer table by doing that. So if I create a new quote with 2S Technologies, the new address is going to come up as 313 Tiger Run Court. So that's the thing to know. Now if you, well, let me show you the yellow business and then you can make a decision on this. So in this case, let's say that Carlsbad comes up as the FOB point by default, but they tell you, no, I want it to be shipped somewhere else. So we say Tucson, whatever. And same thing with the terms. Say we want to change that to this, and say we even want to change the phone number. Okay, at any situation, any case, sorry, at any point that you say, I'm not sure I really want to ship that to Tucson, let me ship it to what would be their normal place. Of course, with the FOB, that's pretty obvious, but you just press F3. In fact, I should put this on the instructions somewhere on the sheet, but it's actually Shift plus F3. So I'm going to hit Shift F plus F3 right now, and it brings Carlsbad back. And but terms would be a one where it wouldn't be obvious what it should be. So I'm going to do Shift F3, brings back COD, and then if customer phone, Shift F3 brings back the actual phone number. So that's useful for bringing back the information from the customer table. But with these white fields, if you change any of these things, you're actually changing the customer table. If you change the yellow things, it does not change the customer table. It only changes the information that's in the quotes table. So it's up to you if you actually would prefer that all of these fields be like the yellow ones. Then I can do that for you. It's just a little bit more work, and it will make more changes to the back end because the quotes table will have to be bigger. It'll have to contain more of this information. All right, so you've got okay. So now this is something I've shown you all the screens that allow you to modify the list of salespersons, modify the list of terms, modify the shipping methods, and all that. You can do that by leaving this form and going to the main switchboard and then doing that. There's also a way that you can get to those lists directly from this form. The problem in the past when I've made these videos is that I can't show you how this works because the video doesn't pick it up. But I have a new video program, so maybe it will, maybe it won't. We're going to give this a try. But anyway, you'll see the results. So if I click on this, it's giving me a list of the salespeople. What you may or may not be able to see on the screen right now is right below those 4 items. There's a little what looks like a checklist with a pencil on it. It's a sort of a translucent icon. Again, it usually doesn't show up in the video, but I'm going to move my mouse down to where that is. It's right about here where I'm pointing my mouse, and you may be able to see that little pop-up there. It says edit list items. One or the other, and maybe the video is picking up everything, I don't know. But if I click on that now, it actually brings up the sales rep form, and I can edit it right there. And then when I'm done, then whatever is in this list is going to be different than what I had before. In fact, I could actually do that right now. I just do Tim Jeffries, TJ, hit this, and now when I go to that form, Tim Jeffries is in that list. So this is true for all of these. Ship state, I can go down here and get a list of all the states. Ship country, I can go down here, get a list of all the countries. Shipping methods and terms. Okay, so that's how you fill out the top part of this form. To get out of this form, you just use this button here or the X on the right. Now we go to our parts. Now I realize that the order of items here is not the way you had it on the PDF file that you sent me. But for ease of use with data entry, it makes sense for me that you want to enter the part number first, and then the quantity, and then the condition. And then on the actual printout of the quote, it will be in the order that you gave me. So now there's a couple things about this. This is called a subform. This has all the details of the quote. One thing is that you have a whole bunch of part numbers that have no part numbers, and if you like, I can just filter those out, but I wasn't sure. The problem with them generally is that if you choose a blank part number, the program's not going to know what to do with that. It didn't do anything with that at all. But I will go ahead and just choose something else here. Okay, so you see what happened here is that the condition got pulled in automatically, the description got pulled in automatically, and the price got pulled in automatically. The quantity defaults to 1, and the extended price is calculated correctly. These fields are also like the yellow fields, but I was not able to make them yellow. I guess if we really wanted, I could do that. It would be a different kind of form, but I could do that. But they work the same way. So Shift F3 will bring in, something else. So if I change that, could say, oh no, the condition was unserviceable, I go back and hit Shift F3, it will bring back what the original condition was. Description, I could say, well, I added some other description here, blah, 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 blah. But then I say, no, I want the original description. Shift F3 brings it back. And the price, of course, you're mostly often going to change, I think, because you want to make a profit. So you put, $25 on that. The extended price automatically calculates. But if I want to go back to the original, or at least see what it was, I can do Shift F3, and it will do that. And of course, if I change the quantity here and make that 5, then the extended price changes. Now, this record hasn't been saved yet. It's got a pencil icon there. If I move down and that saves it, then the total shows up. So you've got your 2640 here. So I can add more parts. And that was 0, but we'll make it $10. And so our total is now 3640. Your notes down here are brought in from the boilerplate that we talked about earlier. You can scroll down and see all that's in here. It won't show up like this on the quote itself because, of course, I'm going to format it differently, but it's the only way I could fit it on the form here. So in the PDF example you gave me, there was something before this text, and you can just add whatever you want to. So, excuse me, in your example you had ILS request, so you could put that there. And if you wanted to add something to the end, you could do that. Stuff at the end. You can just do that. And again, this is not changing the boilerplate text that's stored in the back end. This is just unique to this one particular quote. And then the record gets saved, and we can move back to previous quotes. Getting around that form, again, I don't know how much I've gone over about how to use Access, but the same business about finding things. You just do Control F or use the binoculars, and you can find any quotes that are from a certain company or address or whatever you're looking for. The one limitation you need to know about when it comes to subform is that when you search within here, if I hit the binoculars button here, the only thing it's going to search are these records that are visible. You're not going to be able to look up any quote that has, this part number. If you want that kind of functionality, you have to let me know, and I can add another button for that, and it's going to have to be a special thing. But the find button only works on the current list of items for this quote on the bottom part. In the main part, you can search for any quote that has whatever it is you're looking for. You can also search, you can also filter, you can sort, filter, and search in all the ways that are normal. If you need any kind of tutorial on those things, let me know. Oh, and you also want to put your attention text in there. And I believe that's it. I will put some text in here about the Shift F3 so that people know to use that. I will make a button so that you can print your quote, and I will get this off to you. So let me know if there are things you want changed about this. Thanks a lot.